Who is Evie? Evie has been a reoccurring character in Fortnite for years at this point, getting a total of 4 different skins since her initial appearance. This means she's totally a super important character in Fortnite Storyline, and totally not a character with a convoluted mess of a story, right? Well, we were originally introduced to Evie all the way back in Chapter 3 Season 3 Vibin', right after the fall of the Imagined Order. She was originally sent to Reality Zero on a mission for the Peace Syndicate, a criminal organization that operates out of Mega City that attempts to keep the peace across the Omniverse, though their aggressive methods are a bit controversial, which is why many don't trust them. Despite that, Evie is still considered an idol in her home reality, and because of this, the Syndicate considers her to be their secret weapon, though at this point this is a pretty poorly kept secret. Evie is described as being a very cheerful yet mischievous young woman whose destructive methods caused her to be put on probation by the Syndicate's leader codenamed X, which is why her activities are now constantly being monitored by the Syndicate's Lieutenant Thunder, a 7-foot-tall lizard kaiju that runs a restaurant chain to cover up his criminal activities. But back to Evie. Her story throughout the time we've known her truly has been all over the place. When we first met her in Chapter 3, Evie was on a mission to recruit new members for the Syndicate from the resistance that helped take down the Imagined Order. However, this turned into a whole other mission once the Herald of the Last Reality got involved and ended up destroying Reality Zero. This caused Evie to get wrapped up in all of the chaos that happened in the creation of the Chapter 4 island, which we now know as Asteria. On this island, a snapshot of the Imagined Order's leader Geno, who we know as the Ageless, was trying to create a new rift gate that would allow him to bridge together realities. This was likely an attempt to recreate the Imagined Order's plans that had just been foiled, so Evie knew she had to put a stop to it. And it would seem that she wasn't the only one who knew the Ageless had to be stopped, as Evie found an unlikely ally with Jules, the daughter of the notorious Golden King Midas, who had been helping the Ageless modernize his Oathbound Empire's technology. However, during the time she spent with the Ageless, she found out the true nature of his rift gate, so she agreed to help Evie sabotage it. And we know these two are the culprits due to some NPC dialogue where they claim whoever destroyed the rift gate had a good reason to do so. However, their success wasn't without consequence, as Evie's home Mega City was then rifted to Reality Zero, and now Evie was reunited with her superior Thunder, where the two then spent an entire season working together with loopers to reunite the syndicates of Mega City in a plotline that led absolutely nowhere. Yeah, remember how I said Evie's story is really all over the place? Well, due to the rough transition from Donald Mustard writing the Fortnite storyline to Charlie Wen's team now writing it, some plot lines were dropped, which unfortunately included Evie and the Peace Syndicates. Sure, they've been referenced here and there, with Evie getting several new skins, Thunder's restaurant being found on the Chapter 5 map, and the Fox Clan and River Guard reuniting during the Mega storyline being referenced in Chapter 6, but they haven't had any real major impact on Fortnite's storyline in years now, even though this group was clearly intended to be extremely important at one point in time. Look, I'm sure the conclusion to this video is disappointing, but unfortunately, this is just what happened with this character. And I wish things weren't this way, because Evie was clearly set up to be a very important character in this game's story. But at the same time, I would not say that all hope is lost, especially since it would seem Evie, even in a small way, is back in action and fighting against the bug invasion now in Chapter 6 Season 4. Plus, Evie was the Fortnite original character Epic chose to be in the Star Wars Battle Pass, showing they definitely haven't forgotten about her. Plus, a lot of Chapter 6's story has been cleaning up the mess that Chapter 4's was. On top of that, other characters like the Visitor and Drift got new lore additions after being gone for years, so who knows, maybe she'll fully make a return someday as well. But for now, we'll just have to wait and see.